Some folks will likely be disappointed that there are no new major reveals in the May 2021 World of Warships Legends Things Are Heating Up update. We still uncovered 5 key highlights from the patch, including a quick review of the Battleship Champaign, so let's get to it. Coming in at number 5 is a new round of tweaks to the ever-evolving ranked battle system for Seasons 12 and 13. But can we please get the gamer tags of the folks that said the last ranked sprint season was quote-unquote too easy? Because now, WG's decided to lengthen each Season 12 and 13 to 12 days and reformat the ladder into 11 ranks split into 3 separate leagues. Each league will have a distinct tier and team size, though the matchmaker will dynamically build smaller-sided squads if the queue times drag out. The biggest drawback to the new format is that there will be fewer save points on the ladder, with only the best players on the losing team, the top 2 in League 3 and top 1 in League 2, saving their stars. The most dedicated, or maybe we should say the most persistent players, have a chance to battle it out for more steel awarded at rank 1 to supplement another cash that they earned back at rank 7, along with boosters, crates, and other items. No CVs will be allowed in the mode, but interestingly, you will be able to see other players' stats after the battles to some degree. If this means we are heading to more stat details and transparency being widely available in the game, and possibly through an API for third-party sites to use, I am all for it. Moving on to number 4 is something that has been teased for what seems like forever now. The arrival of the monster skin ships for the Godzilla vs. Kong collaboration, which we once thought might have just been an April Fool's prank. Third-party gaming media sites have called out the same thing that I did watching some PC streamers show off the new skins in streams this week, that the beasties themselves only show up on the reskin Tier 5 battleships in port, not truly battling it out during the matches. So while that is a bit of a bummer, Godzilla seems pretty happy to get to hang out on the familiar confines of a Japanese ship, and passes the time teething on the cool blue heat rays mask since he doesn't get to do something more provocative like wreck the port or do a Fuso pagoda pole dance. As for Kong, he winds up on a ship that looks most like a red-hot lava version of New Mexico, and seems cranky about either the temperature or getting cheated out of spending some time on his adopted home turf of New York. So he takes out his frustration by swatting at some annoying airplanes, which is a nice shout out to his anti-air habit in many of his movie appearances since 1933. I must sadly note that there was probably a big missed opportunity to get North Carolina in the game in this promo, which would have caused quite a few people I know to lose their bleep, as he is Kong's stomping grounds in the PC World of Warships version of the collab. But alas, there was not an easy equivalent Japanese battleship to add to the game for the Godzilla side in Legends, since Tier 9 Izumo is commonly thought to be one of the worst ships in the higher tiers of the IJN tech tree. Too bad, really, but we'll keep on the lookout for North Carolina to debut at a later date. The biggest highlight of these two guys after they gloss your port with their repertoire of animated moves is the fact that they are actually commanders as well. While Kong is definitely not as dreamy as Shelly Beepley, he does let you go ape on attacking carrier squadrons with 2 unique anti-aircraft buffs specifically for battleships: Battle Axe as a base trait and Tear Off the Wings as a skill. And not to be left out, Godzilla benefits your spotter plane reload and duration with base trait Horrifying Gaze, which possibly teases getting the higher angled point of view spotter that seemed to be teased in a sound effect a few patches back. That would be an amazing surprise. He also gets Thick Hide as a skill, which provides an increasing measure of fire protection as he ranks up. So beyond the skins, the true value of this collaboration boils down to 2 new commanders that can help players to counter noted annoyances in either attack planes or hidden HE spamming ships, which could be valuable depending on your level of saltiness with these in-game opponents. You can make these beasties your besties and help customize some of your favorite ships by picking them up in the store until either June 21st or by getting them by chance in an event crate. Your new Lizard King commander may come with some cool new roars as voiceovers, but how the heck are you supposed to know what he's really trying to say? open the lines of communication and make that connection so much closer with Godzilla Translate, available now for a limited time. This advanced World of Warships Legends companion voice recognition and translation app installs on your iPhone or Android device in a snap. Just set your desired human language and it translates all the key phrases you need to know to form a winning partnership with your new Kaiju commander. Now you can translate key operational directives like enemy destroyer spotted, torpedoes to port, fire alarm, and the frequently heard, you are our last hope. Unlock your inner lizard with Godzilla Translate for just $4.99 and take your World of Warships Legends games to a whole new level.
Godzilla Translate is powered by patented RepTech translation technology, which may cause dizziness or an overwhelming desire to smash household objects with extended use.
At number 3, we're happy to see a ship returning to Legendary tier play on a permanent basis and the introduction of a new ship that has both a unique playstyle and an important role to play in improved high-tier matchmaking. Wooster is back, bringing her 12 fast-firing 152mm guns that have high arcs and are suitable for firing from positions protected by terrain. She boasts the radar consumable in addition to Sonar 1 and has decent bow armor, which makes her an excellent choice for cap control and destroyer hunting in the right hands. Taking the aggressive positions required to achieve these tactical aims will allow you to spam away as long as you don't get caught showing broadside, which will give you an extremely quick trip back to port. Another very welcome addition is the French destroyer Collab, only the 4th Legendary tier destroyer to become available in Legends. Adapted from Tier 10 on the PC, she is a further variant of the Mogador class, with a different flavor of main battery guns and more powerful anti-air defenses. Described by WG as a Le Fantasque Plus, she will satisfy your need for speed by likely hitting over 40 knots, and has improved armor-piercing round penetration, moderate-range torpedoes, and a main battery reload booster. Just be aware that you have to give up something for the extra get up and go, as she lacks the smoke generator consumable and has a concealment value that is not good enough to take early positions inside caps without risk, so she'll play a lot more like Kabaras than Gearing or Shimikaze. While Collab looks like she will be a fun ship to drive with her run and gun style, she'll also put another top tier destroyer into play that can help balance out lopsided destroyer pairings in Legendary tier matchmaking. Highlight number 2 looks like a dull bullet point list of balance changes affecting mainly Tier 7 ships, but it hits on one of the most important issues facing the current state of World of Warships Legends. Plain and simple, high tier, namely Tier 7 and Legendary tier matchmaking needs help. For without thoughtful balance and matchmaking improvements, the game could die a slow death through frustration and loss of players. First up, Legendary tier badly lacks destroyer diversity, which is why it's so important to see Collab and future DDs join the Research Bureau project list as we just discussed. This causes not only the obvious imbalance in the number of destroyers per team, but there are also constant examples of different types of destroyers getting matched up against one another that perform entirely different roles and are not fairly balanced head to head, such as putting an HE spamming a relatively bad concealment Khabarovsk up against cap control DDs like Gearing or Shimikaze. Secondly, the Research Bureau only rewards patience with regard to granting high-tier ships to players, not skill or experience. Some folks, especially those with no experience in a line, are not ready for the highest tier ships in Tier 7 or Legendary tier games. And their lack of know-how in a given line can lead to poor team play and lopsided game results that are frustrating for many players in the match. Lastly, and probably most important, Tier 7 is just inherently frustrating to play at this point of Legends' evolution. It takes long grinds to unlock Tier 7 tech tree ships, but once you are there, it often feels more like a punishment than a reward. This is because credit losses in Tier 7 tech tree ships standard battles are a fact of life in all WG games without buying premium time, but are a rude awakening for many new players. And furthermore, Tier 7 ships are the only ones in the game that often have to fight ships that are 2 tiers higher in attack power and or armor when they face Legendary tier ships. which makes it very welcoming to see a list of balance changes in the patch notes that impact the everyday playability and state of the game. When WG says these changes are quote-unquote mostly buffs to ships that we had noticed had started lagging with their main metrics a little bit, this is certain code for one of your favorite ships being at least a somewhat significant disadvantaged ship at their tier due to either being underpowered at introduction or being power crept by new ships or other meta changes added to the game. Yes, this page is an eye chart, but it's just a visual summary to point out that of the ships balanced, 6 out of 8 are Tier 7 ships, 100% of these ships are cruisers and destroyers, and the majority of them are also from the first 2 nations introduced into the game, the IJN and USN. So let's hope that these ships getting some love from the devs improve their ability to compete successfully. And finally, from a carrier implementation perspective, which seems like it has gone about as smoothly as could be hoped for, anti-air suites for all ships will be tweaked to put out higher continuous anti-aircraft damage at the expense of fewer flak bursts, with the aim of rewarding carrier players who develop stronger situational awareness and squadron maneuvering skills. Enough of all the uplifting matchmaking talk. Let's move on to highlight number 1 and hit on why we think we've saved the best for last. Tall Glass of Victory unlocks the Battleship Champaign and unleashes potential for plenty of solid puns over a typical 5-week campaign run from May 17th to June 21st. It has a cost of about $94 if you buy the campaign outright to maximize your steel earnings through endless trials, or just about $7 if you only purchase the 2,500 doubloon Admiralty backing and grind out the 100 campaign milestones required. Admiralty backing keeps creeping up a bit in price as you earn back fewer doubloons to offset your buy-in, but it's still a solid value that grants you far more numerous rewards along the path to earning your premium French battleship, including extra boosters, camos, global XP, and credits, increased commander leveling items, 500 doubloons, and 7 more big winter crates, and then ultimately the final prize of the Tier 7 Battleship Champaign. You get nearly 53,000 in additional doubloon value, or over $180 of full price stuff in the shop for spending $7 on Admiralty backing and what would hopefully be your normal playing time to grind out the campaign. And don't forget about the bonus tip, the weekly Havoc sessions do not roll over each week in this campaign, so you want to make sure to keep up with the weekly trial goals as you go along. Our campaign reward ship Champaign is an interesting Tier 7 French battleship similar in design to that of the Gascon class, which I personally don't have any experience with beyond watching her being played on PC by one of my favorite streamers, Mr. ChaosMachineGR, who you should definitely check out on Twitch. From an overall pros perspective, she packs 406mm rifles in 2 triple turrets that stand apart with their high accuracy, good ballistics, quick reload, and high HE fire chance. And her secondary batteries are also very solid if you can survive being close enough to use them. In fact, her guns have been called out as obscene in the right circumstances, with Twitter posts by noted PC streamer Senpai singing her praises and highlighting the fact that she was removed from the PC shop after only a short period of sale, most likely due to overperformance. And Sea Raptor chimed in with a short Euro clip of Champaign dev striking a Ranger 2 minutes into a match in her spawn location, as Senpai also alludes to in his original post. Besides her unique guns, Champaign exhibits the flanking characteristics of a higher tier French battleship, with enhanced speed and agility, which you will need to use frequently to keep her in a position to take advantage of broadside targets. From a cons perspective, Champaign has only the 2 triple turrets, which results in lower damage per minute and the need to make each salvo count. She also has quite a weak armor scheme, the worst at her tier for a battleship on PC, and she is susceptible to HE spam on her superstructure like other French battleships. All in all, she is a situational sniper that can really hit hard, but will also have a hard time taking punches in return. Good aim as well as skillful positioning and patience will be very key to her long-term success in your port. So another patch arrives, this time without any major line additions or changes to the meta, and instead focuses on some new ship additions and a collaboration, a revamped ranked battle structure, and some valid attention to game balance in the higher tiers. I, for one, think letting the dust settle a bit after the big introduction of carriers in the last patch to be a wise move indeed. Since you're already here, stay tuned and check out our video on Battleship Tactics linked in the corner above. And don't forget to join us for a live stream here on YouTube or on Twitch, or to check out our growing library of game tips, guides, and other content here on our YouTube channel. Let's pop the bubbly as we head into the new Champaign. Until next time, this is your friendly neighborhood VannKraken, and I am out.